2015 Dodge Challenger, and this car, just like all of these other cars that are surrounding me, are going to be auctioned off today at this auction. This is a used car dealer auction. I'm bringing you along with me. I'm going to show you today what dealers are paying for stuff just like that. This nice Toyota 4Runner, this Dodge Ram, this Honda Civic, and this Toyota Camry. All right, so what we've been seeing, at least for the stuff that we buy for our dealership here lately in the last 2 weeks, is that prices have been coming down. They've been coming down quite a bit. About a month ago, we weren't buying anything at any auction. We were still going to check cars, but the prices were just absolutely ridiculous. And now over the last 2 weeks, we've started to buy more and more. 2 weeks ago, we bought 8 cars. Alex went to 2 auctions the last 2 days. He bought, I think, 8 Tuesday, another 3 yesterday. So I actually brought him with me today. He's going to be checking out cars while I'm focusing on doing a video for you guys. But it's just something interesting for us to see for our business, is that we're starting to see the stuff that we buy coming down, and we're able to buy again, which is good because we're pretty much out of inventory. We got to restock. Need is not really the word for it, because if we need to go on vacation for a couple weeks of buying cars, we're absolutely fine. We don't need to sell a car to be okay. We don't finance any of our cars. We don't have any debt. So we're okay, but it's always nice to keep on getting cars to roll out, and it's nice to see that some of our prices are coming down so we can actually get some inventory to sell to our customers. And the inventory that we got coming in, we're actually able to sell it for what I think is now reasonable prices, because we're not paying crazy amounts at the auction. So it's a good sign, and I think there's going to be more to come as these dealers are getting overexposed, and there's just less bidders here to run up these cars, and that's why the prices are coming down. All right, been trying to find 4Runners at auctions to check for you guys. Not a lot of them come up for sale, but this is one, and we'll check it. It's a 2012. It's got 168,000 miles on it. Outside, the body looks good. Inside looks pretty good. The leather on the seats where you sit down is just a little bit worn, but not too bad. Actually, this is pretty nice. So it's a 2012 Toyota 4Runner, and it's got 168,000 miles. We'll see what this brings inside and let you know a price. All right, so this is a 2014 Subaru Crosstrek. Outside looks great. It's got the roof rack already on it. Nice looking little car. I actually like that color on the outside. Inside is pretty dirty. You got dog hair in the cup holders already for you. Why is there dog hair in the cup holders? And in the back seat, dog hair everywhere. So I guess the dog was just moving around all in the car. Gross. Anyway, 2014 Subaru Crosstrek. It's got 106,000 miles. All right, been asked about some prices on some minivans. So here's a 2017 Kia Sedona. It's got 112,000 miles. Outside looks good. Inside looks pretty good. Actually, very good. So, automatic back doors, and back seat's not torn up at all. So this is a good one to check. 2017 Kia Sedona. It's got 112,000 miles. There's a good one to check. It's a 2010 BMW 328i. It's got 100,000 miles on it. Outside looks good. Inside's a little dirty, but not too bad. We'll check this and see what it brings. 2010 328i. It's got 100,000 miles. Here's a good one to check. It's a 2014 Ram, 1500. It's got a Hemi, the 5.7 liter. It has 119,000 miles. Outside looks pretty good, except that's the Dodge. I don't really like the way Dodges look. I know there's a lot of people out there that love these trucks, but I can't stand how they look. Let me know in the comments if you actually like the way a Dodge truck looks. But this is a 2014 Ram 1500. It's got the Hemi, the 5.7 liter, and it's got 119,000 miles. All right, so this is a 2015 GMC 2500. It's got 159,000 miles. Outside looks good. It's a Z71. Inside's pretty clean, not too bad. Back looks good. So we'll check it. It's a GMC 2500 HD Z71. It's got 159,000 miles. All right, so this truck right here is coming from a dealer that's a buy here, pay here dealer. So it's most likely a repo, but we're gonna check it just to see what it brings. It's a 2009 F-150 XLT. It's got 180,000 miles. Looks good on the outside. Inside is okay. Looking at it real quick. But it's a F-150 and it's most likely a repo. It could be a trade-in, but it's probably a repo just judging by the seller. And it's a 2009 F-150 XLT. It's got 180,000 miles. There are your big tires on this Escalade, and I think somebody really wanted to try to get into this thing. All right, you've been screaming for Hondas. Here it is. So this is a 2011 Honda Pilot. It's got higher mileage. It's got 169,000 miles on it, but it's still going to bring good money just because it's a Honda and it's a Pilot. This one's actually kind of dirty, so maybe it won't be too crazy, but still a Honda, still a Pilot. Keep that in mind, and we'll check it and see what the price is. But it's a 2011 Honda Pilot. It's got 169,000 miles. All right, here you go. You've been asking for Challengers, and I am a man of the people, so here is one. We will check it. It's a 2015. Now the miles are high. It's got 196,000 miles, so somebody drove the crap out of this thing. But either way, this is the only one that's here, so we'll check it to just see what the price is. Inside's a little bit rough, but after 195,000 miles, you're gonna start seeing stuff like that anyway. Cloth seats. So we got 2015 Challenger, 196,000 miles. We'll see what it brings here. There's the Camaro that didn't sell last week. It brought 7,000 in lane. Seller, I think, wanted 10 grand, so they just no-sold it. All right, here's a 2013 Honda Civic. It's got 143,000 miles. We'll check it. It's got some bad paint. You've been wanting to know about some four-door Hondas and Toyotas. I've got a Toyota right beside of it. When that dealer gets out of it, then we'll check it too. But this one, the outside is rough. Inside's not terrible. Actually, it is pretty bad. Looks like cigarette burns and cigarette ash. Ugh, gross. And all this, actually this car is gross, but we'll still check to see what the price is. 2013 Civic. It's got 143,000 miles. All right, here's Toyota for us to check. It's a 2007 Camry. It's got 103,000 miles on it. Outside looks good. A little bit of bird poop, but that'll wash off. Inside looks actually pretty good. Needs to be detailed, but it is not ripped up or anything like that. Looks actually really good for what it is. A 2007 Camry with 103,000 miles. And here he is, the myth, the legend. We already did this once, but
what's up, people?
There you go.
Sell time, let's go. Come on, sell time, sell time. I need to get over here.
So we're done looking at our cars, and Alex actually bought 3 today. So great, we're gonna go check them out, and we'll show you at the end of the video. Go ahead.
That's 13 on the week.
Yeah, so we've actually bought quite a few this week that we haven't been able to buy the prior weeks. So we'll actually show you what we bought at the end of the video. So just check it out at the end. All right, so what happened at this auction today? way more no sales than there have been in the last few weeks. I know I said there was quite a few more no sales last week, way more this week. More no sales, more if bids, and that means that the sellers are not wanting to cut bait on a lot of this stuff yet and just dump it. But it's coming, because they're not going to get higher bids in the next week after that. Bids are only going to get less as we move on, and dealers really just can't pay what these sellers are wanting this week. So no sales are going to continue to stack up, and that's good for used car prices, because eventually these sellers, they're going to get rid of them, so they'll dump them eventually, and it's just going to be maybe for a little bit less next week, and probably a lot bit less about a month from now. So I haven't really talked about this very much at the end of auctions, but after the auctions are over, all these cars get put right back in the spot that they got pulled from to run through the auction. But now they have to make their way to dealers' lots. So what do dealers do? So what we do is this auction's quite a ways away from us, so we don't have our guys actually drive the cars. We've got a transporter, so he'll come in here and he'll actually grab the keys from us, and he'll pull these cars out of the gate and go and load them on their transporter and deliver them to our shop over the next few days. But what a lot of dealers do is they'll literally just come out here as soon as auction's done, grab their car, and just drive off with it. So it's a smaller auction, so you don't see a ton of transport happening, but the larger auctions, I don't show you a lot of those because I really can't film at those, but you'll see transporter trucks just everywhere after the auction, just cramming these cars onto trailers to get them out of here. But at the end of this auction, all these cars, if they're bought, you got to get them out, and they got to be out before the next auction runs, so within a week. And if you think about how many auctions just ran through this, I mean, how many cars just ran through this whole auction, that's a lot of cars that got to be moved out of here so they can move new cars in here to run next week. And it's a big hassle at these smaller auctions. They always have to say to dealers, hey, get your cars out, get your cars out, get your cars out, because they need this space to be able to pull in. I mean, they ran, what, 150 cars easy today, probably maybe 200. So they have to make room for another 150, 200 cars within the next 5 to 7 days. So these dealers have to get these cars out in a timely manner so the auction can keep running too. All right, price time. So that 2014 Subaru Crosstrek with 106,000 miles, it only brought $5,700 in lane, and they put it on a phone call, so they didn't get the deal done, at least during the auction. But what the auction announced is that the car was salvaged, so that's why I didn't bring hardly any money. I would assume even with the salvage tag on it, $5,700 is probably not enough, so I would assume that deal is probably not getting done. The 2017 Kia Sedona had 112,000 miles. It only brought 11,400, which I thought was actually a very good deal, and the seller sold it. So that deal got done. Again, on the Sedona, I don't think that was crazy money for it, so that's good to see. The 2010 BMW 328i, it only had 100,000 miles on it. It brought $6,000, and it sold. All right, the 2015 GMC 2500 HD had 159,000 miles. This one was actually pretty interesting. It rolled through the auction, and the auctioneer kept lowering the price, lower the price, lower the price, just try to get anyone to bid. No one wanted to raise their hand. Eventually, it went down to $18,000, and there was one dealer that bid on it. And he was the only one. There was no other bids. So $18,000, asked the seller, and the seller was just like, you know what, we're just way too far apart. So they asked, okay, what would you actually take for it? And he said $24,000. So they were so far apart. They just said no sell on it. But it was interesting to me because no one even wanted to bid on this truck other than one dealer. And I'm assuming that even that dealer, it just got to be where the auctioneer just lowered the price so low, the dealer was like, you know what? I mean, that's so cheap. I'll raise my hand. Whatever happens, happens. But it was no sold, and it's probably going to run again next week. Probably going to be the same outcome, and they're eventually probably going to have to send that truck to another auction or take it back because they're just so far apart. The dealer that's selling that truck must have paid way too much for it and thought that they could get more for it at the auction. All right, the 2014 Ram 1500 had 119,000 miles. It actually also did not get a bid. So there's two trucks that went through the auction and basically did not get any bids. The auctioneer even lowered that one all the way to $10,000, and still no one raised their hand. So these dealers do not want these expensive trucks right now because they can't sell them. But the seller, after it ran through and nobody bid on it, the seller said, you know what, if anybody wants it, they can have it for $18,500. No one wanted to bid on it at $10,000, so definitely not getting $18,500 for it. All right, the 2007 Toyota Camry had 103,000 miles. It sold in lane for $6,500. All right, the 2009 F-150, at least I said it was a 2009. It had 2009 written on it when I checked it out in the lot. When they were actually pulling it through their lane, they said, no, this is not a 2009. They messed up. It was a 2013. So it's a 2013 F-150, 180,000 miles. This is the one that we thought was a repo just because I know where it was being sold from. It's a buy here, pay here dealer, and typically they're not getting trade-ins that they are going to immediately send to auction, so it's most likely a repo. I don't know that to be a fact, but I would bet money that it's a repo, just knowing the seller that's sending it. And it only brought $7,000 in lane, and they no-sold it. Okay, 2011 Honda Pilot had 169,000 miles. It brought $6,300, and it sold. All right, the 2015 Challenger had 196,000 miles. Lots and lots of miles for that year. It brought $6,500, and it sold. All right, the 2013 Honda Civic had 143,000 miles. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that the paint was bad. I can't actually remember now, but I'm pretty sure it had bad paint. But it sold for $6,100. All right, and the 2012 Toyota 4Runner had 168,000 miles on it. It sold, but it brought $16,400. I think that's crazy money. I know 4Runners bring lots and lots of money, but that seems very high for that. Sold in lane, $16,400. All right, now, so what are we seeing? We're seeing no sales, tons of them stacking up. We're seeing a lot more if bids than we have been seeing the last month and a half. And all that means is that really there's going to be less bidders in the system that are running up these vehicles, or they're just bidding less. And these sellers are used to last month's prices. They're used to 2 months ago prices, and they don't want to let go of stuff yet. So if you've been following the used car market for any amount of time, if you can remember back to fall, back to winter, prices on the wholesale level and on the retail level were starting to go down. They're starting to trend down. And what was happening at auctions at that time is that no sales were just absolutely spiking. I mean, that's when I really started doing these YouTube videos. And I remember one of the big topics that I talked about a lot is how many no sales were going through these auctions. So as we see these no sales start to stack up, what will happen is these franchise dealers that are running these cars through these auctions, they'll stay stubborn for a little bit. It'll take about a month, but eventually they're going to realize, hey, we're not going to be able to get any more money for these vehicles, so they're going to start dumping. And when they start dumping their cars and letting them go for these cheaper amounts, that's when you're going to start seeing a lot of the wholesale numbers go down in a meaningful way. And then what will follow after that is retail numbers will start to go down. Because if dealers are able to buy stuff cheaper on a wholesale level, that means they can sell it cheaper. And as more and more dealers start buying cheaper and cheaper inventory, then the whole market has to come down because they're competing with each other. So they're going to have to try to have the prices that customers want to pay, and customers do not want to pay the prices that we have right now. They're too expensive, and these dealers will have to start rolling through inventory, and these franchise dealers are going to have to start taking losses on a lot of the stuff that they are just, they paid too much for. And you're going to see the Carvanas, the CarMaxes of the world, as they notice that, that dealers are not going to pay so much for these cars, they're going to start offering these customers less money for the cars that they are buying. So that's going to help prices come down. Another thing too is that as these franchise dealers realize that they're going to have to start selling cars for less at auction, they're going to offer less for trade-ins. So it's just going to be really a domino effect as these no sales start to stack up, and these dealers realize that they're going to have to start dumping their trade-ins, dumping the stuff that they bought, they paid way too much for, and then that's going to filter over to us, the used car dealers. We're going to be able to buy stuff cheaper, meaning we're going to be able to sell stuff cheaper. So it is coming. Prices are going down. That's what I see, and the no sales are just the start of it. And Ray will be buying me a steak. Go whenever you're ready.
08 Fusion, paid 18, we'll sell for 3. 07 XC90, paid 2,000 for it, sell it for 35.
Looks good. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, here's the last one.
03 Accord, pay 14 for it, we'll probably sell it anywhere from 25 to 3,000.
All right, looks pretty good. Good job, Alex. We got some cars this week.
Yep.
Needed them. All right, Alex is getting in the car to go move it right now, but this is probably towards the end. You know, I'm not even going to say it's towards the end because I'm not supposed to let you know when we're towards the end, because then you'll just cut off and I will lose average view duration, which is something that I want to be up, and probably losing you right now because I'm rambling about it. Anyway, I'm tired. But yep, thanks for watching. And there he is, the myth, the legend.
What's up?
What's up? You know what, we can't use that because your thing's right there. Hide it. And here he is, the myth, the legend. We already did this once, but
what's up, people?
There you go.
Take 2.
All right, we're gonna do the Super Win over again because I was being dumb when I did it the first time. For these cars, in